In this program, we'll take a closer look at these essential skills and qualities with the help of some employees and employers in a variety of workplaces. We'll begin with personal qualities. Imagine the qualities that make a great student, and I bet you'd come up with a list pretty close to the one here. These are the essential personal qualities employers want in their employees. And these are qualities you can develop in school and apply throughout your life. Getting to class on time, handing in assignments on time, doing your best work, even when you don't like the assignment. The qualities that make a responsible student are no different from the qualities that make a responsible employee.
It's the attitude that you have towards a job, no matter what you're doing, always treating it as a job and treating that job with respect.
Responsibility has a lot to do with getting your job, your tasks done on a timely basis and being able to prioritize your work so that you know what needs to be done and you work at it and get it done on time.
Employees like to see that you're trying hard. They may hire someone who is a harder worker but is not highly skilled. You like to see someone trying hard. You know, someone can be very highly skilled but not be a very good worker. It may not produce very much for you.
You have to know what's going on, be intelligent, know what's going on not only about your job, but what's going on in your community and around the world.
You've got to be willing and ready to go out there at any time of the day. This is not just a 9-to-6 job. We should be able to be available at all times, and I think the key is really that desire and willingness.
Most successful employees get much of their job satisfaction meeting the high standards they set for themselves.
When you're done, if you want to have a finished product that you're going to be proud of and that you can put your name on, you've got to be meticulous through the process.
I'm very careful, very systematic. I take pride in my work. Even though banking was something I never, ever pictured myself in, it's important to me that my customers are happy. I like it when they come in and they ask for me. It means I'm doing something right.
Hi, Rachel. How are you?
The payoff is that you find that you have a career and a skill that's in demand. And there's nothing better than that, than having people buying for you and having companies pursuing you to work for them because you have paid your dues and you've reached a level where you're in demand.
Self-esteem. Maybe not as easy to learn or understand as responsibility, but there are plenty of opportunities in school to develop your sense of self. Self-esteem shows in the way you present yourself to the world.
The way a person walks into a room, the eye-to-eye contact that he or she makes or does not make, how one shakes one's hand, how one speaks initially, the manner in which you introduce yourself and pronounce your name to others is a critical piece of a preliminary introduction.
In my job interview, I was very confident about who I was and where I was going and what I wanted to do. They want to find somebody who really believes in their own confidence and that they think can serve them the best.
That self-confidence, what I would look for is a comfort level and how that person was able to sell themselves to me.
I didn't have any experience, so I wasn't quite sure how it would go. But I guess just having experience in different positions in different with different companies, different roles, she liked the fact that I'd worked with people, with customers before, and I guess she just, thought I had a positive enough attitude that I could learn the position.
I would define presentation skills in many, many different ways. It's dress, it's posture, it's your speech patterns, it's how loudly you speak, it's how softly you speak. It's the way in which you engage someone by asking questions, by looking attentive, by following up questions, by generally looking very interested in what that person has to say.
She had a smile on her face. She was calm during the interview. I asked her about herself and her experiences, and she was very comfortable sharing those experiences with me. That helps me during the process to get to know a person. Her crisp appearance told me that she takes pride in herself, and I translate that she would take pride in the work that she does as well.
I think it says, I care. I care how I look. I care what you think of me. I want to be respected.
From the time you first interact with other people, you begin to develop your sociability. If you think about it, school, with its great variety of personalities and age groups, gives you all kinds of opportunities to practice social skills. You don't have to change your basic personality. You can be extremely outgoing or shy and reserved. The key is to be interested in other people. to relate to them well.
One of the things I try to communicate to my employees is to always put yourself in the other person's shoes and to visualize how you would like to be treated.
One of the big things that we look for here is people skills. And in any workforce, you need that.
Especially in this type of business where you're out with people constantly, you're constantly on the phone making calls, setting up interviews. You've got to be very personable, you've got to be likable.
And people skills are very important in this job specifically.
The reason I stopped is you made a left-hand turn right in front of me with a big no left-hand turn sign. When you came, just so you know, when you came out. Okay.
A lot of times situations, you can either escalate them or de-escalate them by the way that you handle yourself in a situation.
And how you handle yourself in a situation is about self-management. Self-management encompasses a range of skills and qualities that you can learn and develop in school. Do you set realistic goals? Are you a self-starter? Can you exercise self-control? And can you handle criticism well?
And then you just pick reasonably sized goals for yourself. You know, I mean, I may want to be the head of the FBI one day, you know, but I mean, obviously I'm not just going to go from here to the head of the FBI. It doesn't happen that way. You just have to go little bit by little bit. So you set a goal that's reasonable. Perhaps I need to finish my degree.
I wouldn't want to hire somebody and not be able to let them do their own job without me having to check on them every day.
Self-starter is a very important trait that we look for because we are in a very changing environment here in the banking industry. And I need someone who I can basically tell them in the morning or in the beginning of the week what we need to accomplish. I personally cannot watch over them, nor do I choose to. I think if someone has the right qualities, they'll be able to get the job done or come to me and say midweek, I'm having difficulty, help me out with that.
You know, there's always constructive criticism. Two people have two different ideas. You have to learn how to take those two and put them together, especially when you have to finish a project.
We need to think about what our behavior is like. Do we think before we act, or are we often impulsive in our behavior? Are we thinking of others? Are we thinking about the way people think about us as a result of our actions, or do we just go out and act?
There's a tremendous amount of liability associated with this job. You have a lot of responsibility for other people in situations, and you have to take that seriously. It can't be about you and ego and, oh, well, I'm a cop now and I can give you a ticket or I can arrest you. You have to have a lot of humility and restraint in this job. I can't think of one time in police work where your object is to escalate anything. I mean, it's all about bringing it down. And so you have to be, in a situation, you've got to be able to speak clearly and to actually connect with the person that you're talking with. You have to remember that you're here to cool everything down and to have a peaceful resolution.
Someone has to remain calm so that you can deal with whatever case is there.
Yes, again, we're talking about drawing, like making a black and white issue out of something that's much more complex.
As kids, we learn the meaning of honesty and integrity in lots of ways. Think about it. How often in a school situation do you have to deal with questions like, what makes for a trustworthy friend? A good team player? What is good sportsmanship? And what's fair in a particular situation?
Is there anybody who will say that the defense attorney that they bring in has a certain degree of rightness on his side?
Well, he committed the crime, but there was also another person with him.
These are all ethical issues. Issues you will cope with now, and again at work.
Well, honesty and integrity is first and foremost in this job.
Having a trustworthy group, a real camaraderie here in the branch is important because of security reasons. And if you can't trust people, it's really difficult to work with them.
It's extremely important to be ethical in this business. A lot of the times, some people get too wrapped up in the story, and they want to be able to, get the story, get the exclusive, and a lot of times, they don't get the story right. So I think it's very important to not take what people say out of context, to make sure that people who I'm interviewing want to be interviewed.
The personal qualities you bring to the job do make a difference. Think of work you would like to do. Which of these personal qualities do you think will prove most valuable at work? What can you do in school to develop the personal qualities that will help you in that work? Stop the tape for discussion.